Black mold on walls, causes, symptoms, prevention and treatment. Published by Safeguard Europe. Black mold on walls, Stachybotrys chartarum, Aspergillus niger or others, is often a sign of a serious problem in your home that needs to be thoroughly investigated. It is often caused by excess condensation, usually as a result of a lack of ventilation in the home that results in high humidity levels. In short, it is a sign that the air in your home contains too much moisture. It is often a sign of an underlying damp problem, as well as affecting the integrity of your home's building fabric. The NHS states that mold growth can cause or worsen respiratory infections, allergies or asthma. Black mold symptoms like coughing, runny nose and increased sneezing can lower quality of life and lead to health complications. Learn about. Find out how to. What is black mold? Black mold is a type of common fungus also known as Aspergillus niger. This is the same type of mold that grows as black fur on fruits, vegetables and grains. In homes, mold spores land on moist surfaces inside the home and begin to grow. Another, black mold, common in the UK home environment is Alternaria. This is an umbrella term for hundreds of species of fungus that are found almost everywhere on the planet. The Alternaria fungus that causes black mold growth is an allergen and can trigger hay fever or even asthma in rarer case. Cladosporium is a black mold fungi type that forms dark spider web-shaped stains. Cladosporium spores are omnipresent in the outside environment, and it is very common for them to find a moist place to grow indoors. Another type of UK black mold is Stachybotrys chartarum, although this fungi is rarer and could present a more severe problem. Sometimes known as toxic black mold, Stachybotrys chartarum loves building materials like wallpaper, gypsum and fiberboard. It thrives on damp walls of all types. Although scientifically disputed, this type of mold has been linked to the controversial sick building syndrome. Mold caused by dampness is often found in areas of high humidity, like bathrooms and kitchens. These rooms are more susceptible due to the steam generated through cooking and washing. This kind of dampness can be easily prevented with appropriate ventilation measures like making sure windows are open. However, it can appear in any room in the house and is closely associated with rising damp and penetrating damp. Frequently asked questions. Is black mold harmful? What does black mold do to humans? What causes black mold in a house? How do you get rid of black mold? Where does black mold grow? Black mold on walls. Wherever you are in the home, mold on walls is a common problem. Look for black and gray splotches. Black mold on ceilings. Black mold in kitchens. Black mold in bathrooms. Black mold in bathrooms and black mold in showers are common problems that can be difficult to solve due to the high levels of moisture generated by hot showers, baths and hand washing. Black mold on UPVC window sealant and black mold on bathroom sealant is particularly difficult to clean. In bad cases, it is more effective in the long run to replace the silicone sealant entirely than attempt to clean it. Moldy sealant is often a sign that the seal itself is no longer watertight, and so will need replacing to stay waterproof. Black mold on bathroom ceilings becomes a problem without adequate ventilation. Building Regulations Part F was updated in 2022 to ensure that wet rooms, such as bathrooms and kitchens, always provide appropriate ventilation for the amount of moisture that is usually generated in these rooms. Black mold on windows. Condensation often collects on windows, presenting as wet streaks on the glass. This is often because glass is colder than the surrounding wooden or UPVC frame and so attracts condensation. This is known as cold bridging. High concentrations of moisture lead to black mold on windows and black mold around windows. Window sills are a good first place to look. Generally, black mold cultivates in hard-to-reach corners like window frames or window sills. It often spreads to the walls near it too. Make sure window seals are tight and undamaged. Check for gaps between window panes and window frames. Do you have double glazing installed on your windows? If you live in an older home, they may not be. Consider investing in this energy-saving measure to prevent excess condensation. Broken window hinges can also cause colder areas which will attract condensation. Black mold in bedrooms. High levels of humidity or dampness in the home leads to black mold growth on walls and ceilings. Depending on the moisture involved, Bedroom mold often begins in the corners of the room, where condensation is collected as it tries to exit the home. Poor ventilation is usually the cause. Ensure that beds, wardrobes and other pieces of furniture are not blocking air from escaping the home. Ensure the windows are opened regularly to encourage air circulation. In cases of penetrating damp, mold in bedrooms can show at any height. This is because dampness penetrates through the exterior wall to the interior wall, often from wind-driving rain. Other signs of black mold growth. Follow your nose. Even if you can't see any visible signs of black mold growth, you may be able to detect a musty, stale and earthy smell. What causes black mold? Mold fungi are almost always present in our environment, surviving for years undetected in the dry. When the conditions are right, previously dormant mold spores grow. Mold thrives in damp and dark places. Often water leaks and damp problems provide a perfect environment for mold growth on walls. Mold on walls develops when mold spores hit damp walls. In the right conditions, mold can develop in 24 to 48 hours. Over time, a small moldy spot can turn into brown or black patches. To treat mold on walls effectively, the source of dampness must be found and rectified before effective cleaning can commence. Black mold on walls. Health risks. Black mold symptoms. Damp conditions and associated black mold growth can affect the immune system. Molds generate allergens, which can cause irritation. Some molds even emit toxic substances. Some people are more susceptible to mold spores than others. Black mold symptoms are often mild. They may initially be misdiagnosed as a cold or seasonal allergies, especially in cases where mold is less visible. Black mold symptoms to look out for. An increase in sneezing, skin rashes or inflammation. An otherwise unexplained increase in attacks for asthma sufferers. Black mold is bad for everyone. However, some people should always stay well away. Mold exposure may cause pre-existing condition complications and other adverse effects. Children, older people, those with respiratory problems, those with a weakened immune system, those with existing skin problems. Even if you aren't in a high-risk category or you don't feel any symptoms, you should never live in a home with mold growth. Black mold should be removed and prevented from returning as soon as possible. How to get rid of black mold. On walls. Correct diagnosis of the cause of black mold growth is paramount. Explore these most common causes to ensure the underlying problem is fixed before you begin cleaning. Black mold on walls caused by condensation. Condensation is one of the biggest sources of mold growth on walls. Condensation occurs when water vapor contained in the air condenses on cold surfaces and creates a damp environment. There are many reasons why a house might have excess levels of condensation. Lack of ventilation. Obstructed airflow. A high level of moisture creating activities like cooking, washing and drying. Remove and prevent. Black mold on walls caused by penetrating damp. Penetrating damp is caused by outside moisture breaching the internal walls. Wind-driven rain is often the reason, although faulty guttering and other sources of moisture can also cause penetrating